Today we're working on a job that I guess not many people either do or have to do. It's not the most fun job in the world, but it is one of the most important things you'll have to do around your house. We live in a pretty rural community. We don't have public sewer. So I think 95 to almost maybe 100% of us in this area all have private septic systems. And what that consists of is where your wastewater comes out of your house. It goes into a big holding tank, and from the holding tank it goes out into some kind of a leach field. And they recommend that every 4 to 5 years you have that septic tank pumped out to take the solids away, so you don't have the solids going into your leach field and plug that up, because that will actually ruin your leach field system for letting the water, the gray water, filter out through the ground and all that. So with purchasing the new property over there for my in-laws, I want to get that septic tank pumped, because the previous owner said it's been about 7 or 8 years since he's had it pumped. And I know that the last time I had mine here pumped was roughly about 7 years ago. So when we go down there, it's going to be a little more work, because I've located the tank down there thanks to a diagram that the previous homeowner had. They did a diagram and marked it out roughly where it was. So I used a metal stake and I probed down until I hit solid in a good size area. So I'm almost 100% sure I know where that tank is at. And with mine here, it's on the other side of the pool over there. And when we originally built the house, so I knew where it was. And at that point in time, I also made sure that I put enough risers on the tank so that my top lid is within an inch or two below ground. No, the grass doesn't grow on it, but where it's at, I don't really care. So it's going to be pretty easy to do it over here. I've only got to just scrape out around the cement lid on mine. But down at my in-laws' place, we do have to dig, like I said, about 18 inches down. So we're going to have to dig a hole down into the ground, try and figure out where the sides of that lid are, and then dig out just that area. It is extremely important to get that done, because if you don't pump your tank out, you will be replacing your leach field at some point in time. What happens is when your leach field is not working correctly, that water will percolate up and you'll start seeing the gray water leach out of the ground. And that's when you know that the earth is no longer absorbing your gray water matter and going down and being filtered out through there. We don't have a leach field problem, anything like that, because we are making sure we do the preventative maintenance prior to that. So if you have a private septic system, you have got to make sure that you pump your tanks out. All right, so today I'm going to be using my Polaris General, and I'm going to be using this Ultratech earth moving trailer from Metza Machines. And like I said in other videos, I absolutely love this trailer. And why I'm doing this is for this area here where I've probed and used a metal stake and put in a driveway marker here to mark out where we think we found it. What I'm going to be doing is, as I dig the dirt out of here, I'm putting it into the trailer, because I don't want to leave a pile on the grass. I don't want it to kill the grass. I'm trying to create as less of a mess as I possibly can. So I'm going to cut out an area of sod, and I'm going to put that in the front end of the trailer here. So when I'm done backfilling this whole thing, I can take that clump of sod and put it right back. And hopefully it'll look like the ground was never disturbed here. But right here is the area where the tank is. Went off of some measurements, and we believe that it is right here. So let's go ahead and see if we can find this thing. I want to show you what I use. This is just a metal stake for I guess chicken fence or chicken wire. And based on the dimensions we had, I just came down here, put it in the ground, pounded this in until it stopped, or it sounded like it hit something solid, and then I just worked my way around. So I'll give you an idea. As I pound this down, right there, it hits dead solid, stops, doesn't start moving anymore. And when I did that, I did it in about 7 or 8 spots all the way around here. So that leads me to believe that there's something flat, because every time I pounded it in, it went to the same exact depth. So I'm guessing, based on the dimensions and using this metal rod, that is approximately where the tank is at. So we're going to go ahead and start excavating this out and see what we find.
Real bad boy. I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes, world on my shoulder, a heart full of blues, and in the dirt, down in the dirt.
All right, well, you can see we got the lid exposed, and that's about a 2-inch concrete lid around there. Got it exposed, and they dug out around the outer edge so we can get a shovel under there and pry it open. We were at about anywhere from 16, 18 inches deep in the ground. Now, the one we're going to go up to at my house, it is exposed. It is at the ground level. It's got a little bit of dirt around the edge, and that's really all we'll have to dig out for that one. But I know not to ever drive on that with heavy tractor or anything like that. So we've got this all dug out. I am absolutely completely drenched in sweat because we're out here, direct sunlight, and I guess not really slowing down to get this job taken care of. This maybe took us, what do you think, Autumn? Half hour, 45 minutes? Probably. At the most. So with her help, she was scooping it out. Tried to save the topsoil as best we could, and again, I absolutely love this Ultratech trailer because now I don't have this big huge pile of dirt anywhere around the yard that I have to worry about trying to scrape it out of the grass or clean it up. When we go and put the dirt back in, and a lot of it depends on if I put a riser on that, because I won't need to put all that dirt back. I won't have to reload it. I won't have to reshovel it again. Autumn's helped me get cleaned up so we can head up to the house and get ours done. If you guys are wondering, in our area, the average cost to have a 1,000-gallon cement septic tank pumped out is right around $300, $350. Depends on who you have do it. It's not too expensive, but it's way cheaper than have to go through and dig up a leach field, put new gravel, and do all that stuff. I mean, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to redo a leach field versus $300 to $400 to dig this lid off and have somebody come in and pump it. So let's go get the other one done. All right, so we've made it back up here real quick, and just wanted to show you how easy it is on mine. And I did this intentionally, but if you come over here from where the pool is, right here is my lid. And I did that so I don't have to dig this up. Now, when we added the pool, we added a ton of fill dirt. There's a rounded hump here, and we've added about, probably 7, 8, 9 feet of dirt in here. And I've got 3 risers on this tank, 3 2-foot risers. So when you take that lid off, it's like a manhole going straight down until you get to the tank. But this is going to be a rather easy one to do. I just need to clear away the sod or the grass here to expose the round edge of that. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. But let me go ahead and get the side-by-side and trailer over here. And as you've seen down there, I like to put all this stuff in a trailer or a wheelbarrow or some kind of wagon, so I don't leave it lay in the grass and it kills and mats down the grass. It just makes it for so much cleaner, nicer job at the end when you're done, and it doesn't look like somebody's come in and tore up your yard. Down there at my in-laws' house, because we were about 16 inches deep, some of you are going to say, why did you not use the excavator to dig that up? Well, because I didn't want to tear the yard up. I didn't want to put tracks everywhere. I wanted a nice clean cut around the tank lid. Let me go get the side-by-side and we'll get this one dug out. All right, so I've got the one here at my house exposed now, and that took all of about 10 minutes. But I'm going to look into a riser for that one down there. All right, so I picked up the riser. Fortunately enough, our local sanitation department here in town had one of these risers. For 150 bucks is what that cost. I'm going to bring that up so the lid is up a lot closer to the surface of the ground. Some of you might not agree with that, but here's my thinking on that. If you make digging up this as easy as possible, it doesn't make the job of getting this pumped seem half as bad. So for $150 to raise that up, and like I said, around $300 to $350 to get it pumped every 5 years, every 4 years, every 3 years, whatever I guess the size of the tank would require. That's why I'm doing this, because putting that riser on there is going to make it so much easier to get that lid off and exposed to where it's just a 5-minute job getting it uncovered and then calling somebody to come in and pump it out. So I had to make a special sling bar. And what I did was just made a bar here, and we're going to put that on the inside of the riser, and it's going to hook it by 1 inch on each side. So when we lower it back down, I've got to get it kicked up just enough that I can shift this sideways a little bit, tip it up and pull it up and out. All right, so I've got to put down like that, because I have to be able to lower it straight down onto that tank. And now with this, I got to put it in on an angle, and as you can see, I put some tape on both sides so I know how far under that is, and that's 1 inch on either side. And I'm figuring that that will be just enough to be able to slide that back out one way, tip it up to get it out of there. So we'll show you how we're going to do this here. So if I put it in on both sides and then pick it up, I'm going to have Autumn kind of stabilize it, because we're picking it up from the bottom of the center of mass. So we'll stabilize it and then just set it down onto that tank, hopefully. I'm going to hold my breath. Well, here's where we got to lower it down on. And fortunately, Autumn's going to have to stand right over top of it to center it in place. All right, one other thing before I set this riser down, I've got some mastic sealer, and they recommend putting that around the top of the tank to the bottom of the riser there. That way it doesn't slip or slide or leak or anything like that. But the water level in the tank is usually about 1 foot lower than the top of the tank, and that's where the outlet pipe is, heads down into the leach field. So we'll get this riser on here. Hopefully we'll be able to get that bar jimmied back out of there, which won't be fun, but we got to do it, all while having our heads over the top of this stink tank. All right, well, we got that tank riser on. Got it all lined up and around that diameter pretty decent. And you can see that we're a good probably 5 or 6 inches down, at least 6 on the high side, maybe 2 or 3 on the low side. But a lot of that will depend on how I go in there and backfill that. So we've got to get the lid put back on it. I'm going to come down here later this evening and backfill that with the dirt that we took out. And I'll only backfill it to the high side of the riser there. got it tamped around there, so that way it shouldn't settle too awful much. And they can still get in here, pry that cap off, and get these things pumped out. And as for this Ultratech earth moving trailer, I've said it once, I'll say it every single time. I love this trailer. And now just take this dirt back up to the house and we'll find a spot to dump it off. I'm going to keep this sod for when we got to go ahead and cap the rest of this off after it's been pumped. But if you guys don't own one of these, you really ought to look into it. Metza Machines is where I got it. So look them up, metzamachines.com. And if you have any interest in it, boy, I would definitely look into one. All right, so the pump service showed up. Got their lines coming out here. And he's got the tank getting pumped out. But something he's doing right now that I guess I wasn't aware of is there is a inlet hole in top of the tank. I know they're there. I guess I just didn't think about it. So I guess maybe tell me real quick, what are you doing here as far as...
Well, we dig down to check it because 99.9% of the time that they plug, it's right there. So, you know, everything coming in from the house, toilet paper and everything will plug there, and then you can push straight down and get your plug open and get it going.
All right.
So that's why you check them.
So we got, I wish I'd have known that, and I could have had that all dug out for him, but he got about another foot to go to get to the top of that cap down here. So this is a 1,000-gallon tank. Roughly how quickly can you pump out, as long as there's not a lot of solids in there? How quick can that tank vacuum that out?
We can have it backed out within like 20 minutes at the most.
Yeah?
Depending on how much hose you got to run. The more hose you got to run, the longer it can take.
Okay. And you lose suction substantially the longer you go?
Yeah, because the way it works is really the atmosphere is trying to fill the truck back up.
Okay.
So we suck all the air out of the tank, and it's actually pushing it back in. So the farther it's got to go, and the harder, the more it takes.
Do you have any idea approximately how many tanks you do a week, or, I mean, is it?
Depends. This time of the year, we usually do 4 or 5 a day.
4 or 5 a day?
Yeah. So, and not all of them do have to dig like this, but it just depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get there and it's the little cap that got uncovered in the wrong one, so then you dig it down.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Huh. Well, that's...
I mean, I've done 8 in one day before.
8 of them, and that's usually without having to do much digging or anything.
Yeah, it's pretty much just get there, you know, throw the hose in, get them pumped, and then you're good.
Yeah.
If you don't pump them, it's going to shove all that sludge as you start getting higher after your leach field, and then it plugs it up, and then you're done.
All right, so he's got the little cap exposed here, and that is just mainly put in there for a clean out, right? For where the pipe comes in.
The baffle, to clean that baffle out, because everything will plug in there. You know, if it slows it down, it'll plug. And the only way you can get that open is push it straight down through.
Okay.
So, because you run out from the house with the snake, you end up hitting it, and it'll knock your baffle off and stuff. So, your best thing is to push straight down.
All right. So, I doubt you guys are going to be able to see down in here, and I'm going to hold good tight. But there's where that pipe comes into the side of the tank, and there's a baffle there where it hits the, let's call it a wall, and then it goes straight down into the tank. So he's kind enough to go ahead and check that and make sure it was okay too. So now what they're doing is just adding some water. So we're gonna turn on the spigot here, add some water to help rinse it out inside the tank there, and get it all cleaned out and picked up. All right, so we're over here at my house now. I've got Charlie from Septic Service, and it's a little quieter here where we can actually hear. We don't have the truck. It's not so far or not so close as the other one. But Charlie, what can you tell me about when you're doing these tanks, and like what's the number one thing that a individual can do for a private septic tank like this?
Well, I mean, keeping it pumped, you know, every 3 to 5 years, depending on how many people you have, is like the main thing, really.
Yeah.
On it. Watching what you're putting in it. Like, you know, you don't want to put a lot of bleach and stuff like that, but you can use bleach and laundry soap. But you just got to watch, you know, a lot of toilet paper is not good.
Okay.
So stuff like that. As far as the other additives, like Red X or yeast or dead animal, none of that really does anything. I mean,
you found that just leaving the tank do its own thing on its own?
Yeah, does it the best. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there and gimmicks and sales, but if you with Red X, it actually says in small print, if you read it, it says to use with occasional pumping.
Okay.
But really, it's like, why, you know.
So even Ridex is suggesting that you still need to pump it.
Still
so
need to pump it. It just they just show the big wet spot in the yard and a backhoe, and it makes people scared. So you
Yeah.
think I'm going to use this and it's going to save, but
Right.
really you're better off to save your money, you know, and put it towards the pumping.
Yeah, good. And you said down there that the worst one you ever seen was the 60 years
Yeah, it was 60 years.
that they'd had before they'd pumped that, and you could stand on that. You said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can stand on top. It was solid.
That's crazy, and that just
Yeah.
you said took all day to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, all day, and then we had a hose blow up when we were back flushing, and it made it was just a nightmare.
Oh, geez, I can't imagine.
Yeah, no, it was no fun.
So, and you're third generation for this company.
Generation.
Soon to be running that on your own, probably,
Well,
and
me and my cousin, but yeah, so we're going into like 75 years now.
75 years in service.
Yep.
Huh. Well, it's one of those services that people that know that need it done
Yeah.
can't live without it.
No,
I mean,
no, and you'd be surprised how many times we get the call and we end up there and people are happy, you know, usually to see you. So,
yeah,
because when your toilet quits flushing and your stuff ain't working, nobody's happy in the house.
right, yeah. So I guess if you guys that are watching this video, you know, probably the smartest thing you could do is find out when the last time your tank was pumped and call a professional and have it taken care of, because these guys know what they're doing. And Charlie here, he's been doing it probably all his life. And I would say that, you know, I told him earlier, he was just dancing around that lid down there. And I thought, boy, would hate to see him ever fall in there. But he's,
Yep, first time for everything.
yeah, he seems to be doing pretty good there. So,
Risers are a good thing too. I would recommend if you don't have risers on your tank,
okay.
you do find it, get a pump, then put a riser and bring it up so you don't have to dig, and it makes it so they're not out of sight, out of mind. You're more likely to take care of it and get it pumped.
Gotcha. And you know, it's funny you said that, because I actually talked about that earlier in the video, that I prefer to have my riser, my tank lid right at the ground level. That way it's only a 5-minute job to uncover it, and you're more likely to get your tank pumped than if you got to dig 18 inches deep like I had to do down there. So that's why we put the riser on that, so it was easier to get the lid off.
Yeah, that, and then, I mean, the houses get sold, people they move in, and they don't always tell them exactly where tanks are. So then, at least with the riser, the next person will know where it's at, you know?
Yeah. Now, what you saw here, my tank was pretty much exposed except for around the side edges.
Yeah.
There's no issue with that other than
No.
you wouldn't want to drive a pickup truck across it.
Yeah, but a lawnmower and stuff, you're fine to drive across them. But yeah, you wouldn't want to drive a pickup. You know, they have steel lids you can get if you're ever in the driveway and stuff. But yeah, no,
all right.
it's fine like that. Actually, we like to see them up like that. I mean, some people worry sometimes about smell, but I've never really noticed a lot of smell that people's gotten out of them. But
Yeah.
I imagine that sometimes you might if
Yeah.
it's real, you know, bad. But
I've always just made sure that I at least cap
Yeah.
the lid with a little bit of dirt around it.
yeah, around the side. So I mean, you're good there.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll let Charlie get back to doing his thing here, and I guess really appreciate these guys coming out. The job they do, it's got to be terrible to try to find employees to do work like this, but the reality of it is it is a service that people, you and I, we need to have done, and these guys are worth their weight in gold for the jobs they do for us. All right, got the tanks pumped, got them covered back up here. Can't even tell, that's where the hole was that he dug out for the inlet on that. And then right here is where the main 2-foot diameter, well, it's actually 30 inches. That's where that lid was. A little bit of rain on that, it'll settle in and it'll look pretty darn good like I was never even here. But you can see the whole area now where I excavated by using the trailer, putting the dirt in it. Kept that ground and that grass all nice and clean and not a mess. There's no excavator or machine tracks coming in here to do this project. All right, back up the house here. I've got the edges filled in around the lid of that. And I think I'm actually going to try and grab 4 or 5 inches of topsoil and spread it across that, put some grass seed on it. It is a little bit low right there, so I tried years ago to get grass to grow on it and it was just too thin. I'll have to actually bring this up quite a bit. So I'll bring some topsoil in, get that covered, get the grass growing on it. But if you found this video interesting or helpful at all, I guess don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you'll get to see more of these videos that I do. And don't forget the thumbs up button. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.